Hi everyone, good morning, and we're going to do a video today from Zoo Miami, the zoo in the Miami area. I'm a big fan of animals. Just got off the cruise ship this morning. Figure out we're here in South Florida, might as well make the best of it. Let's show you around Zoo Miami. Alright, let's check out the Florida Missions Everglades exhibit. So really cool here, you get to get pretty close to this crocodile who's awake and like staring. Pretty neat. He's also moving a lot. Normally you don't see them move like at all. Sometimes you see them swimming around, but it's very rare to see them moving like in the land. The Everglades section is also home to this nice playground for kids. Looks like they probably have water fountains and stuff here when it's warmer. Today it's in like the high 60s, so it's definitely not water play area weather. But you still have slides and play structures. So this exhibit is really, really neat. They have an otter exhibit here, and otter's one of my favorite animals. You can see them all cuddling and stuff like that. But they also have a slide that you could go down that is in the otter exhibit. So you slide like an otter, and you go right past them. That is so neat. So earlier we saw that crocodile and he was hanging out way over there by that boat. But then they have this great exhibit here where you can go through a crawl-through tunnel. So if the crocodile's like swimming over here, you can go get an amazing view. Really, like, you can tell this is a newer exhibit with some really fun design. Again, the bears are really up close, guys. There's one right there and one right here.
Look, it's going to you guys. It's going to you guys.
It's really, really cool to be that close to a bear. Pretty looking bears, too. Again, you can see that this is a newer section of the zoo, this Everglades, Florida area, because they have more cool little things. Like there's a bear den you crawl into to get an up-close view of the bear, who looks like he's ready to take a bear nap. So I always find it interesting when I learn things at zoos. And this guy here is a burrowing owl, and I didn't even know there were owls that sort of dug holes and lived underground. This guy's one of them.
And a tortoise.
And of course the Everglades section had to have some alligators in it, right? You got some American alligators. They're not at least these guys here are not particularly large. Sometimes you see these alligators like this and they're gigantic. More fun stuff here in the Everglades exhibit. This goes over the Alligator Pen. So while unfortunately we don't have like the money shot going on right now, where there'd be alligators underneath it, there's potential for there to be alligators right underneath this net climb kind of thing. It's really fun. It's a wonderfully designed exhibit. Intertwined with the Everglades exhibit here is the Lost Man's River Ride, which is actually kind of fun. We got to interview these guys. These are boats built by Whitewater, so we interviewed them at IAPA probably 3 or 4 years ago when this project was announced, and it's kind of fun to see, you know, like I knew I sat in one of these boats like on the showroom floor at the expo, and now there's a ride. I think it's an upcharge of about $5 or so. Definitely look forward to hopping on that in a little bit. The zoo's home to 2 rescue bald eagles hanging out over there. I like one of them is named Putt Putt because he was found on a golf course. Another fun exhibit here is for they've got foxes and raccoons and bobcats. And again, with the innovative kind of design, we're standing in a treehouse, so I guess they could like be right underneath us sleeping and things like that. But it's really cool because they're like running around. Something very different that this zoo offers is they have Suri bike rentals. So if you want to rent a smaller one, it's 2 hours for like 26. A larger one is 2 hours 36. That'd be an interesting way to see the zoo. Up next, it's time to check out the Amazon and Beyond exhibit. You've got a nice monkey exhibit with a common squirrel monkey. Is that little tiny guy there? Fun looking fella. And then the other one in this exhibit is over here. The black howler monkey. Now that is a frightening sign if I've ever seen one. There's an indoor section to this cloud forest Amazon area, home to a lot of snakes. I'm not a big snake fan, but this guy's cool. It's a plumed basilisk. Check out the alligator lizard. You can see the jaguar up there. Looks like he's eating breakfast. Hanging out as a cool perch he's got. Giant horned lizard is another really, really fun creature here. Another great photo op and kids play area here as you can get your picture taken on a poison dart frog or with jaguar eyes. Gotta love the size of Zoo Miami, as some of these encounters and enclosures just go on for forever. This one just seems to be birds, but this is a zoo with a ton of room. This is a very strange looking animal. They look like alien snake forms. And they're underwater. It's very odd. The Orinoco crocodile, who's both posing and sleeping. Here is the wolffish. And this is a new section we walked into, the indoor flooded forest section in the Amazon area. So the larger section on here is actually pretty neat. You've got a big window on the right-hand side, which has a bunch of different birds and a couple of smaller monkey-type animals, like your red kind of tamarin small monkeys and things like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff we did not see in there, like there's supposed to be a porcupine and like a different type of baby monkey and things like that. We did not see that. And then I think the star of the show over here is a giant fish tank they have, which has to be a good. I mean, this looks like probably a 20-foot fish tank with some giant fish. Very impressive. You've got a neat open air kind of fish tank here with a little stingray type guy in there and a couple other fish. Caught the giant otters during feeding time. Look at them, big old fish. That's cool. You've got a very, very different looking turtle. So I like this. They have a great bat exhibit where the bats can go on both sides. They're going to get that pen and then fly in between them. That's so neat. This guy's a southern tamandua. So he's in the anteater family, and he's really cool. He's like a mini anteater. Zoo Miami is home to its own monorail, and it's an upcharge attraction, about $5 or so, with a couple different stops all around the zoo. Interesting, older looking monorail. And a lot of times it doesn't look like it gives you a great view of the animals, but more of a transportation mechanism to take you from one place to the other. It's about $5, $4 if you remember. But the interesting thing is the zoo closes every day at 5, and at 4:30 the monorail becomes free as they try to get people out of the zoo. So guys, this is fun. Got to the tiger exhibit as they are feeding the Sumatran tiger, which is a beautiful tiger too.
Black stripes.
Another look at the tiger. Also, we'll say the tigers here, they have a ton of room. Like a very, very, very big exhibit for the tigers, which is really nice to see. And go get your food. If you're a fan of some like old school style souvenirs, they have mold-o-matic machines all over the zoo. First time I've seen mold-o-matics with a card swiper as well, so that's kind of neat. But these are really kind of neat. You put your $3 in, the machine comes down, it closes, and then it makes your souvenir right in front of you. So you get your choice of whatever kind of animals you want. I think I've seen like probably 10 or so of these around the zoo, and they're neat. Cool for kids, cool for some nostalgia people who grew up with this kind of thing. Over here we have kind of a rare animal for a zoo. It's a New Guinea singing dog in the Australia section. It's just kind of napping, and it's kind of sad because look, this is Mondu, and he's a diabetic, so don't throw your hot dogs or pizza at him. I absolutely love koalas, and look at how cute he is. And they're never awake either. Normally you always see koalas and they're asleep. Not this guy. I will say, unfortunately, the Koala Pen in this Australia area, it definitely feels like one of the very much older areas of the zoo. This koala does not have a whole lot of room here, and it feels like a very older section. And that's what happens with zoos. You know, they build new stuff and upgrade their older stuff as things go. But he's awesome. Finishing up the Australia section, here is a couple of emus. Those are evil-looking birds. Evil birds. Real interesting lunchboard sign as you come into the zoo. Talking about the new landscaping courtesy of Hurricane Irma, and I guess some of the damage that the storm brought this past year. Over here, one of the older exhibits, it appears to be one of the older exhibits at the zoo, you have lemurs. They're not really being fun right now, they're just being lazy lemurs. So this guy over here, this tortoise, he's having a good day, but not as good of a day as these two. If you wanted to feed the birds, you could do that here at the Wings Down Under Parrot Feeding Adventure. Kind of a simple looking pen, like it's not very pretty, it feels very industrial. So over here by the Amazon section, there is a giant lake, and you could rent these cool looking swan boats where you could get, like, you and your family could get in either a giant rubber ducky or a swan and pedal around the lake. It's pretty neat. Another fun play area for kids outside of the Amazon area, you've got fountains, and those hang on and go kind of things, and then another slide. The zoo never ends here. Up next is the Wings of Asia. So the Wings of Asia is a giant, really tall bird aviary, and it is just massive. Right now we're back in the kids zoo section of the park, which if you look behind me is just pure chaos, but it's worth coming in because they have meerkats, and meerkats are neat. In the kids zoo is the Wacky Barn, which is a petting zoo, home to this really cool pig. And you got your more standard stuff with goats and little goats and a llama. But the pig's my favorite. Another animal with tons and tons and tons of room here at the zoo is the black-handed spider monkey. Who's that guy right there? Here is the guanaco, which kind of looks like a mix between a llama and a camel. We now made it to the African section of the zoo, of course home to some of the most famous animals around, like the rhinoceros here. Two big rhinoceroses. And again, with the theme with the zoo, they have a ton of room. These rhinos have a very, very big enclosure. One of the stars in most zoos is the elephant, and here they have a couple of them. And they're big, they're very pretty looking. This guy is making funny noises, and I'm guessing he's washing out his trunk with that spray fountain kind of thing over there. Impressive though. Very cool, right across the way from the elephant pen is this giant gold mosaic elephant statue that serves as a photo op. It's really neat. Here is the okapi. Another classic zoo animal here is the giraffe, and they have a bunch of giraffes. They have a couple giraffes that are sitting down, which you don't normally see. And there's a littler guy over there. Like, I wouldn't say baby giraffe, probably a couple-year-old giraffe. He's like half the size. Also, they do a giraffe feeding experience, so if you want to have your kids feed the giraffes, or if you've never fed a giraffe, because it's kind of a neat thing, you do get to do that over there. Again, it's one of these things where it costs money, but it's if you've never fed a giraffe, it's really neat. Big giant tongues. See? She's gonna try and feed the giraffe. Yep. Big giant tongue. Up, he dropped it. Right now we're still hanging out over by the okapi, but oh, that's weird. Hey Molly, what time is it?
Beer 30?
Beer 30, yes. I'm drinking I'm not going to drink a beer because we just got off a cruise ship with the beverage plan yesterday. So the last thing I need after about 50 drinks in 3 days is another beer. But then I stumbled upon the beer cart here. They have their own like specialty beer. So I'm like, I've got to try it. And it probably helps the animals. I'm drinking a Zoo Brew Blonde Ale. You can see it right there. That's the tap. They actually have a nice beer selection. 312, an Isla Morada, and of course Bud Light. But since the beer had its own specialty beer, the zoo had its own specialty beer, I had to give it a try. It's pretty good. Nice blonde ale. Not the cheapest. It's $8 for a 16 ouncer, but it probably goes to the animals, right? We'll say that. Hiding over here is, I believe it is a bongo. It's not a zoo without zebras, right? Really cool stork here. I love his the blue beak. Another wildly expansive pen here for the giant eland. Sure, a cool, pretty looking animal. I find it interesting they're all looking that way, as if they're watching something. And these guys are chewing. Check this out, guys. It's a big silverback male gorilla, but he was having a drink. And now he's wandering around. Interesting, their gorilla habitat here, another one that's very, very big, but it's not super nice. A lot of zoos you go to their gorilla section is one of their best exhibits. Not the case here in Miami, but was cool to see him drink. And of course, right next to the gorillas is the chimpanzees. This guy's kind of making a mess eating some stuff. I think there's only 2 in this enclosure, at least that I've seen. But this is the only one I get a really good view of. The Pygmy hippopotamuses are kind of sleepy right now. They're really cool animals. I would say, like, the one thing that's really cool, we live in Orlando, Florida, so we're not too far from the Lowry Park Zoo, and they just recently had a baby Pygmy hippopotamus born. Google it, because it's adorable. Guys, I believe we made it to the Asian section of the zoo now, which you start off by seeing the Indian guar, which is like this giant, awesome ox. Check that out. Guys, this is the golden pheasant, and, oh, sorry, moving. A really neat looking bird. You know, it's got a very kind of a King Tut kind of look, as it eats a thing it's probably not supposed to be eating. Check out the horns on the Sable Antelope. Massive. Now that is a camel. Styling camel. Double humped camel. And I like the sign about him too. Like over here, you may notice Bubba, our bacterian camel, is excited, which causes him to salivate and vocalize as we prepare to introduce him to his new mate, Sunny. Good luck, Bubba. Good luck. Unfortunately, the African painted dog is sleeping. So I'm not really sure what we're walking into here, but there are a million different stairways and paths and that kind of thing to get to the lower level of whatever's in this big rock area here. So those walkways led to a multi-level viewing area for a couple different animals here in the Asian section. We've got the Asian small-clawed otter, they are just adorable. Look at them. Look at those guys. And you can see, you can watch them above the water, watch them below the water. A couple other animals over here as well. They have a very, very pretty leopard who's now jumping around. Big leopard too. They have 9 Here's the Somali wild ass, which is a really cool looking type of horse, donkey kind of guy. Very pretty looking. And they have a bunch of them. Here's the Bantang, as we're almost done with the Asian section. Interesting, their little exhibit has some theming touches to it, which we haven't seen a lot in the bigger outdoor exhibits. And the lions are doing what they do the best, and that is sleep, as lions tend to sleep for a long time. Look at how sleepy he is. Very pretty lions.
Oh, he's up.
Oh, he perked up. Must have heard something. So something really cool that I have not seen at zoos before, they have a rhinoceros encounter, featuring, I'm assuming, that guy over there. And then it's, you know, $5 to feed a rhino. I'm guessing you must have to use a stick or something. It's a very limited times, 2.5 hours each day. They will be on your park map if you come in, but that would be a very unique experience. Like if that was going on, I'd be very tempted to do it. So I find this really neat. This is one of the very, very few zoos I know that have both Asian elephants as well as African elephants. I mean, it makes sense because elephants you need a ton of room for, and this zoo definitely has the room. I also like they have their own fountain and stuff over here. And that guy's just, he's awesome. Look at the size of his tusks. I'm very excited to see that they had tapirs at the zoo. A very rare animal, and an animal that's so, so neat. And they have 2 of them, which is awesome. One's very sleepy. Check out the size of this orangutan. He is super furry. And awesome looking.
Like the small little monkey bud.
Yeah, that's right. A couple of different guys in here. He probably does not get a whole lot of attention. But man, that giant male orangutan is awesome looking. And the orangutans have another cool pen, you know, multi-storied, you know, climbing structure and things like that. But he's got to be one of the stars of the zoo right there. That he is cool. We're now inside of something called Dr. Wild's World of Discovery, which is a big indoor area. You've got some animals, and then you've got some more like science museum-y type exhibits in a pretty good-sized building. I love this great hippo statue kind of photo op they have outside of the World of Discovery. They had a couple other ones, like they had a big elephant one, but the hippo one's pretty fantastic. Another animal you don't see here at a lot of zoos is the Visayan Warty Pig. Kind of a similar animal to a warthog. Some of them are big though. I know the guy that just wandered back there was very large. But they're fun looking. There's the big guy. He's got a nice like mane kind of thing on him. Good dude. Over here you got the warthogs, which are cool. Again, I'm surprised by the size of some of them. The big guy's off in the distance there, but he is a very, very big warthog. And look at those tusks. Staying in what I assume is like the Asian pig animal area, you've got the red river hog. I gotta love this photo up on the way out of the zoo where it says, "We all had fun at Zoo Miami, but we are pooped." And you get to put your face in a butt. And that will do it for our time here at Zoo Miami. I really enjoyed it. You know, it's a couple things. To get in, I think it's like $23, $24 after tax. And we were here for a long time. We spent about a good 4 hours at the zoo. And I really enjoyed it. A very, very large zoo. So if you have some older people, you might want to consider that monorail ticket, or younger kids, the Suri bike kind of thing. I love that they had so many different activities. There was some sort of animal interaction or keeper talk about every half an hour. It's very difficult to plan for those because you have to be at the right place at the right time. And the zoo is massive. This is definitely one of the biggest zoos I've ever seen as far as we talk about like acreage wise. I mean, it took forever if you wanted to go from the back of the zoo to the front of the zoo. It is quite a haul. I loved it. Their newer exhibits were fantastic. I really like the cool design of the Everglades exhibit, the size and scope of their Amazon exhibit, and I like that the animals seem to have a ton of room. You know, you go to some zoos and you kind of feel bad for the animals because they're in pens that may be too small for them. That I did not feel that at all here at the Miami Zoo. Molly, I'd bring you to a lot of zoos. What was your thoughts here at Zoo Miami?
I agree. I love the size of the pens. They were massive for the animals. Granted, sometimes you couldn't see any of the animals because they had so big. But the new design of the Everglades was amazing. And I think that, you know, they have a potential to expand and keep expanding and update.
So much room.
So overall, I would have...
Yeah, I would give it a good plus.
Yeah.
I think it's, you know, in the better half of the zoos that we've been to. You know, I would not put it on the same level as something like the San Diego Zoo, which is the gold standard, but it's very good. And I think your price point's about right too. Some zoos like Lowry Park is a nice zoo, but it's not a $35 zoo or whatever they charge. San Diego Zoo is amazing, but it also costs $50 to get into. Here, I think your price point is really good for what you get, so it's a solid value. They brew their own beer. That's a plus. And thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about Zoo Miami, let us know in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow myself on Twitter at InTheLoopLegend to keep up to date on all my adventures. And follow the Facebook page, because then if you follow the Facebook page, you get to follow everybody's crazy adventures on all of our wacky stuff we do. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you all next time.